Laken Riley should be alive today, but unfortunately, due to Democrats and Joe Biden's insane open border policies, she is not. Joe Biden and his voters support human trafficking, child trafficking, and drug smuggling into the United States. The blood is on their hands and they cannot ignore it any longer. Yet, they will continue to call anyone who opposes their policies racist for simply not wanting one of the largest human trafficking operations in the history of the world to happen on their southern border, as their country already faces so many challenges with inflation and the possibility of World War III. You are looking at the face of human garbage. This man illegally entered the United States, broke our laws, and then murdered an American civilian. But hey, these are the kind of people that Joe Biden wants to come into the country illegally by the millions. Disturbing new details have emerged about the murder of a 22-year-old nursing student on the University of Georgia's campus last week. Warrants suggest the accused killer, Jose Ibarra, beat Riley over the head with an object. Lincoln went through the warrants with John Lang Jr., a former GBI investigator and criminal profiler, to learn what might have happened during the assault. In this case, the offender was met with resistance, which he wasn't expecting, and it got overpowering, and he couldn't control it, and he restored it to violence. Documents accuse Ibarra of kidnapping Riley between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Lane suspects that he panicked, and that's why he hit her in the head. But he didn't know what he was in for, and I suspect she probably fought back, Lang said. He's not a very big fellow, and he may have been overwhelmed by her size and her strength and tenacity to fight back. Ibarra eventually dragged her body to a secluded area. Investigators said that at some point, Ibarra also hindered a 911 call that Riley tried to make. Concealing her body, that's just an opportunity to distance himself from the crime. Lang said that in terms of motive, only Ibarra can answer that. But when a woman is attacked by a man, investigators can't rule out if the motive was sexual. And looking at this whole thing, this is like a disorganized offender. That's what we call them, Lang said. He just does it on the spur of the moment for whatever motivating factors. Legal experts said that if it's possible that because Ibarra lived in an apartment complex near the trail, that he simply walked from the property and onto the trail. That's where the guy lives, Lang said. Anybody could probably predict that's probably where he approached her from, at least. Ibarra faces charges of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, hindering a 911 call, and concealing the death of another. It's just absolutely heartbreaking that this man was caught at the border and released into the United States. The United States government has failed Laken Riley and her family. And our hearts and prayers go out to her and her family. Obviously, the blame goes to the sick individual who did this, the disgusting human that did this. But also, there's blame from the Biden administration and their policies and people who support the same policies of open borders. But let's see who the mayor of Athens, Georgia, has to blame for this.
Well, 2019 was not that long ago. You might remember the dynamic we were living in the late teens in this country, where you had the President of the United States speaking in the most vile terms about people who were foreign born. And you had that notion metastasizing in places like Charlottesville. In the main, I caution against conflating immigration and crime. The data demonstrates that the two are not connected.
Kelly Gertz is not just a sad, pathetic excuse of a man, but also a human being. After a young woman in his city was murdered by an illegal alien who should not have been in the country, he decides to get on TV and lie and spit in the faces of American civilians. He says he doesn't want people to conflate immigration and crime. Well, there's just one simple fact. Every single person that comes into this country illegally is a criminal, and they should be treated as such. He then goes on to say that this is because of Donald Trump's rhetoric about quote unquote people who are foreign born, when that was never a talking point of Trump. He was talking about how Mexico doesn't send their best, and these countries don't send their best. Look what Venezuela just sent us, this disgusting human being. All right. And he keeps bringing up the lie that Donald Trump said white supremacists were very fine people in Charlottesville. This has been debunked for years, yet these people will lie to you in order to steal power from the American people. This is why I say if you listen to the mainstream media, you're actively uninformed about what's going on in the world. This took me about 15 seconds to Google to find the clip disproving what this man just said.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
According to Kelly Gertz, it is Donald Trump's fault that tens of millions of people are entering the country illegally. It is Donald Trump's fault that illegal immigrants, as of just this week, have murdered a college student in Georgia, murdered a 2-year-old in Maryland, sexually assaulted a minor in Virginia, sexually assaulted a minor at knife point in Louisiana, shot 3 DC police officers. It's not their fault. It's not the individual's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault for being mean, according to Kelly Gertz. What a sad excuse of a human being he is. You don't just have to worry about some of the most vile and disgusting criminals coming over the border, but you also have to worry about some of the deadliest drugs known to man coming over the border. The fiscal year of 2023, over 27,000 pounds of fentanyl have been seized, according to CBP. 2 milligrams is considered a potentially lethal dose of fentanyl. With 27,000 pounds fentanyl just in the 2023 fiscal year, that is enough to kill over 6 billion people. Think about that. Almost the entire world's population could be killed with the amount of drugs that have come through the southern border in just the fiscal year of 2023. This has been going on for 3+ years now, and I don't see the off ramp to this. Joe Biden has no plan on changing policies, and if he wins in 2024, we'll have 4 more years of this. What will happen to the country? You now know this, all right? You got to tell anybody that says they are going to vote for Biden that they are voting for human trafficking. They can no longer deny it now. This is absolutely disgusting. Please, please, let me know why letting tens of millions of people into the country illegally is a good thing. I just can't think of it. I've thought real hard about it, and I just can't think of a good reason to do it. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.